Hey, are you thinking of hiring an interior designer and you're not sure how much it's going to cost and if you have the budget for it and if it's even worth it? I'm going to break it all down for you here in this video. I just want to give you two disclaimers first. First of all, I am recording this in an vacation apartment and without any of the things that I usually record my videos with, so excuse the newness of this video. And second of all, I am recording this video based on my experience, based on how I price my projects. Do not speak for all designers when I do this video. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing that I want to talk about is the budget. So there is a misconception that people have that when they tell a designer their budget, the designer will base the prices off of that budget. That is not how it works. The reason we ask for the budget is so that we can get a feel for the level of finishes that you want on this project, for the amount of work that you want put in on this project, and if you can even afford us to begin with, and if it's worth it for us, for it to give you a quote and for you to even spend time doing this, because sometimes people do not even understand how much it costs and they're just kicking tires, and asking for your budget is a good way for us to get a feel of if this is going to work or not. The second thing that I would say is the amount of involvement that you want to have in the project affects the price a lot. So for example, if I am picking flooring, tiles for bathrooms, and kitchen finishes for a client, and I have to take that client to the store with me, I will charge more, because taking a client to the store requires me going to stores first and scouting them, prepping for the client, going an hour before the client and prepping all of the finishes in the store for her, and then spending that time with the client, which usually takes longer than if I was selecting the finishes myself. Now, when I say selecting the finishes myself, I don't mean that I'm just going to choose everything for you. I mean that I take 3-4 samples and bring them to your home and show them to you, which takes a lot less time, therefore takes a lot less money. But since it's your project, however you want to work is perfect and works, but it would cost more money doing it that way. Another thing that affects the price of the project is the scope of work. So if you want me to pick furniture, that would be one price. If you want me to pick finishes, that would be another price. If you want me to manage the installations, that would add to the price. If you want me to do the final accent shopping and decorating, that would add to the price. So all of the different things that you want me to do add to the price. Now, doing different rooms obviously does add to the price, but the first room will be the most expensive room. For example, if you hire me to do your bathrooms and your kitchen, and then you add the dining room, adding the dining room will not cost as much as somebody who hires me just to do their dining room, because all of the base fees that I have in there of measuring, of taking pictures, of taking final pictures, all of those things kind of get blended in with the projects before, and it all ends up being a little bit cheaper than it would if it was a standalone project to do the dining room. So we have the budget that affects the price, because just to know the level of work that's going to be required. We have how much you want to be involved, which affects the price, and we have the scope of work that affects the price, how many rooms and exactly what you want me to do in that room. What I do is I take all these three factors. I take the size of your house, so if it's 4 bathrooms or if it's 10 bathrooms, and I figure out exactly how long it's going to take me to do this stuff. How many hours, how many weeks, how many months is it going to take me to do your house. What I do then is I multiply that by my hourly fee, which no one knows because it's just for me, and I figure out exactly how many hours I'm going to be putting into the project, times that by how much I charge per hour, and then I do add a bit, because it's never what I thought it was. So I know designers that double it, I know designers that triple it, I 1.5 it, because I find that seems to be the most accurate. And what I do is, as I go along, I do track my hours just for myself, so I kind of figure out exactly, I get a more accurate estimate of how long it's going to take, so slowly I can stop doing that, stop adding hours. Another thing that I add to the price is any expenses that I will incur. So if you want 3D models, I have to add that to my price. If it's work that my assistant's going to do, I have to add that to my price. If it's work that I have to bring in a contractor and my workers are going to come in and have to work, I have to add that to my price. So anything like that, I add to my price. And then in the end, I come up with a full project fee and I send it to you. So for example, I would like to give you an example. So if somebody calls me and tells me that they just bought a house, it's the most horrible thing that they've ever seen, and they want to gut it. So it's 3 bedrooms that I'm going to have to design, a kitchen, 2 bathrooms, a living room and a dining room, a playroom, and an entryway. Okay? So what I do is I come in and I figure out exactly how long it's going to take me to pick finishes. So here's what I was talking about, right? I'm not going to figure out how long it's going to take me to select finishes for each room because that can all be done in one shopping trip. So it is kind of considered one room for that, maybe like a little bit longer of a shopping trip. So instead of, maybe I'll double the amount of time for the shopping trip, but it's not more than one shopping trip. Then we select kitchen design, kitchen layout, kitchen cabinets, kitchen finishes, the countertop, and all that. We have project management, so we have somebody coming in and putting down the floors and putting in the tiles and putting in the vanities and putting in the kitchen and putting in the lighting and putting in the paint and all of that, which I have to manage. So I have to come check in on them. I have to make sure that everything's being ordered on time. I have to make sure that everything's being put in correctly and on time, and all of that, which kind of takes all the stress off your head and puts it on my head or on my team's head, which we are much more well equipped to deal with it. Then we have to go shopping for furniture and have all the furniture delivered to the warehouse, have the warehouse deliver it all to your house and set it all up, manage that, and go shopping for accents, do the accents, and take the final pictures. So I would consider all of that, exactly how much you want to be involved, exactly how long that's going to take me, exactly all the expenses that I'm going to have to pay, and I round that up to a final fee, and I send it to you. So that's basically how interior design pricing works. That's why interior design is priced the way it is. We do a lot for our clients. So my whole thing, I can't speak for other designers like I said before, but my whole thing is I do not want you to stress. I want all the stress to be on me, and I want you to be like just having fun, selecting the finishes, figuring out what your house is going to look like and all that. So that's how it works. And if you want to get a quote for yourself, you can comment below. You can go to my link that's in the description. You can call me. My number's in the description. You can do whatever you want. But there's a million ways to contact me. I'm on Instagram. I'm on YouTube. I'm on my phone. I'm on my website. I'm on my emails. So yeah, have a good day.